Hello there everyone, this is iMark3 and welcome back to Saving the Fire Nation, where as we can hear the victory anthem is going strong in the background. Welcome back to Phantom Brigade, yes. And there's a little bit of bookkeeping to do before we proceed. In particular, I need to address a few things that have been adjusted, and we will see how we do. No, I have not decreased the difficulty of the game itself, that's still at max. So that's the important one out of the way immediately. But I have been rebalancing the units based on acquisitions after that last lovely fight against the giant walking tank. So, let's go and have a look at the units really quickly. Longbow and Nameless have basically been more or less unchanged, though I have rebalanced again the reactors and the thrusters and things, so actually there is something worth noting on Longbow. Longbow, cooling off from dash, 0.1 seconds. Yep, Longbow can really motor when required, that's good. Nameless is about the same, so all well and good. Edgelord, well, Edgelord is an even edgier lord than before, and that's because Edgelord is even more unstable and even more powerful. So powerful that this fragile mortal coil cannot contain it. So, what have I done? Mostly in the torso, honestly. It is now fitted with the dynamo reactor, which gives it another way to, electrocute itself. But the dynamo is pretty powerful, it's just that when you dash you gain the charge ability as well. So this guy can no longer use dash just for tactical manoeuvring. It has to use it and then find a way to discharge itself. Move speed is at 16, which is decent, but it's so powerful that dash has actually reached the cap of 48. That is as long a dash as you can get. And so I've been downgrading the thruster to improve general performance, more power available for basic movement, while maintaining 48 for maximum dash length. So yes, dash that electrifies it, but it can really cover distance when it does that. And then of course it's got the discharge coil for any kind of heating issue. So yeah, Edgelord is on the razor's edge for some of its options now, but we'll also have to see how that one goes. The other change is to Barbatos. We were looking at Barbatos and the woeful state of its cooling capabilities last time, but we have managed to rearrange things a little bit here. So move speed of 6, thrust gives it a dash of 36, so again, dash is fairly uniform with the exception of Edgelord at this point. More importantly though, instead of overheating, it can dissipate the remaining heat from firing a heavy laser in 1.8 seconds, so that is pretty darn decent. And that's been done by swapping out reactors from other units and stuff like that, so it's now carrying the hot rod, which is specialised for heat dissipation, as well as me prioritising getting it parts with better cooling and stuff like that. So Barbatos is fitted that way. Also, it's got the reach thruster that was originally on Longbow. I'd swapped that around so that Barbatos has basically got as much thrust as it can to dash as far as it can, because it can't really walk anymore. I hope I can fix that later with better reactors, but we won't know until we get there. Also, as a side note, by the way, the missile pack, I'm not going to give it to Barbatos if it comes to a demolition mission. I'm actually going to fit it to Longbow, because Longbow is already a very light frame and a very cooling frame, which can more or less, I think, fire an Eclipse missile barrage without overheating. Kind of, it doesn't really show you on here too well. But yes, that's the plan for that one, but most of the time just be the cargo rack for maintaining general mobility. One other thing that needs to be mentioned is I have not been keeping track of the workshop. The workshop is actually set for upgrade, so level 3 is now available on all items. If I decide to run some manufacturing first, I will need to decide that first by going to the front line. Also, by the way, the victory music is louder than any other music in the entire game, so that's a thing. Ah, good. Peace at last. Right. Crew all the rest outside the busy border outpost. Outside, the Isles are preparing defences, helping civilians, and Packing to join you on the road to the next province. A few local 3F pilots approach base requiring to join the squad. This is why I've not set production going just yet, but I want to see what we've got in here. We've got 3 rookies and X-ray a engineer type. Pack mule. Backpack damage plus 25%. I wonder if there's a backpack that might be suitable for that. Possibly. And then logistics. Salvage bonus plus 10. Oh, this guy is actually really good. Backpack charges plus 25%. Backpack damage plus another 45%. X-ray is... I like X-ray a lot. Unfortunately, it requires 50 green. I've only got 33. Bother. That's a shame. Other than that, well, I think maybe taking a recruit, see if we can sort that out. It'd be nice if I could actually have a look in there to check my current pilot list. I've got 5, I've got engineered, interceptor. I was looking for a new interceptor ideally, because I'm not quite happy with Romeo. Unit speed is a good one. Actually, no, you know what? Massive unit speed boost from Romeo is actually really solid for that, so maybe I'll keep that one around. And Kilo's pretty darn decent as well. I think maybe what I really want is to get more crew space. Has the game music always been this loud? I turned it down before I started recording. I don't know. Expanding bunks allows for an additional 3 pilots. Will cost me 300 base materials, leaving me with 700. Yeah, I can expand my bunks now. I'll pick a couple of rookies to go with me. There we go. And that's how we will do. Though something I would also like to mention is I was actually toying with doing a different recording method for the next section, like a condensed video, like me doing the entire next area, but then that would be a very different style from how the previous parts of this series have gone. Let's pick up I want X-ray. The problem is to get uncommon components I have to scrap uncommon components. Actually, I might have some spare. Give me a second. Okay, it is done. Do not worry, I didn't lose anything significant there. I scrapped a green arm and 2 green torsos. The arm was one that I had some spare examples of, and the torsos were both heavy arrow ones. I've got a blue heavy arrow torso in reserve still. So that's that. I didn't actually teach my... Wait, I think I actually produce a green heavy arrow torso now because of that. But I got the points I needed for X-ray. I will recruit you, thanking you. You are potentially quite useful. And then we'll pick up... Let's grab Juliet. And we'll have 1 spare if I recruit 1 more. Let's grab November. I like the look of your helmet. Thank you. Dunzo. So, spend some stuff. Very good. There's a few other bits we can do. I was considering making some new parts, but something we're not engaged with just yet is the upgrade system. In particular, I was looking at Nameless. I was thinking about fabricating a new shield, which will cost me 250 for a level 3, or I can upgrade it for 100. Worth noting, though, it does say there, times upgraded out of 3, so that implies I can upgrade a given item I want to hang on to up to 3 times, and then I have to just accept it and make a new one. But in this case, I will go ahead and upgrade this. Nice if you told me the stats of the upgraded item, but let's see. 111. I said upgrade. Oh, I didn't click on it to recheck it. Okay. Another 200 odd hit points, which is nice. If I upgrade a more advanced part, that costs me... Yeah, that'll cost me more. Oh, I figured it would, but that's worth checking. Something else we need to test with Barbatos, though, is can the missile launcher fire while it's still got the heavy cannon. And by missile launcher I mean its cluster, the secondary. Because if it can't use a sidearm until it's lost its primary weapon or it's lost its right arm, then that would imply that either there's no point in carrying a secondary because it's just extra weight at that point. Right, sorry. If it can, that'll be good. If it can't, then just give it a backup pistol or something in case it needs it, and then that's call it a day. Let's say that, yes. But let's move on. Because there's actually something really quickly about Barbatos as well, about how badly overheating it was last time. Clint's comment, which is, that's a real kill shot, but need help with frying my feet a little. I like hot pots, but if I'm in the pot, no. Need the AC set to max. I'm sorry, I can't install the air conditioning in this thing because there's no extra space for it, but as you see, I've improved the cooling, so we're good. But with that said, I think I could do with another SMG, let's be entirely honest, but apart from that, I'm not really seeing much else. So let's whip up an SMG for 250. There we go. And we'll leave everything else from there. Keep clicking world by accident. No. Province. Travel. Now, nobody actually weighed in on where I'm going next time, so I'm going to say we are going to be sensible and we're going to go to Hosford. Or actually advancing parts would be best to go to Western Pass, but Hosford we're going just because we're going to see how we're going to do. So, operate and liberate. Enemy forces are reserves. Occupying forces are reliant on numbers, conventional armoured vehicles and missile launchers. Unsophisticated adversary more often utilising incomplete mechs, missing one or both arms in favour of backpack weapons. Actually, I'd forgotten about that one. It has been a little bit since the last episode was done. But favour of backpack weapons, we just specifically picked up someone who is better with backpack weapons. Well, that's a happy coincidence, because I did not plan that. But we'll go here. But yeah, I was just thinking about like progression time for the series, and it's like, maybe I should actually do that. Path Mountain could be perilous. Short debate we could decide the best course of action is deal with the occupying forces in the side of the ridge. On this side of the ridge. This should give you a chance to salvage extra equipment and gain more experience before attempting to pass. The first enemy signatures appear on your map. Looks like Cascade has a formidable presence in this province, but after the previous battle your pilots are brimming with confidence. Excellent. Let's see what we've got. Okay, we've got bunker breach, a mech ambush. Oh, that's us ambushing them. And then a 4-point for a break-in. Sorry, difficulty 4 plus 3 for a break-in. Okay. Very interesting. We've only got 3 to progress it as well, but it's then it'll move to stage 2. So, I mentioned I was thinking about like doing all of the missions in here and then giving an abridged version of the actual thing, and that would be a video in and of itself. I'm going to try for a hybrid here, which is I'm going to be working quickly on these rather than explaining things as thoroughly as I have previously, because hopefully after a couple of sections you guys know kind of what I'm trying to do, and we'll see how that goes, because we do need to experiment a bit with speeding things up a little. Otherwise this series is going to take several years. But yeah, let's be honest there, several years. But on the bright side though, I've got 8 pilots now. I'm going to be rotating pilots like hot potatoes, aren't I? Anyway, let's see. Bunker breach, a long-range weapon, melee weapon, camp supplies, and a reactor subsystem. Yes, please. Or the mech ambush, because break-in would just immediately clear this one. A long-range weapon, melee weapon, a short-range weapon, base components, a thruster subsystem. Conditional rewards are a backpack, a melee weapon, and a weapon subsystem. Ooh. So both are giving me reactors, but one is significantly more dangerous. Let's see. Steady reinforcements of each reinforcement comes in with 2 opponents. Runners, light mechs carrying cargo. Right. On-site contact is a set of aggressors, and there are 4 of them. while the bunker breach has 3 targets flat out. Let's trial recording with bunker breach. See about how this feels trying to do an abridged version, shall we? Let's of course trigger the overdrive, and we are going for this one. Unfortunately, it's around a mountain from the other two, which is potentially an issue. Oh, that enhanced pilot cost me a hope. I was wondering what that resource marker was, but it didn't say. Okay, so long range, melee, suit up and prepare. Okay, so bunker breach. This sends us underground, which actually means that long range missile attacks are pretty bad. Also, these are solid blocks that are in our way as well. Long range is also going to be difficult. Very well, very well. So I was just checking my headset volume there. Edgelord will be fine, Barbatos will be fine, Nameless will be fine. Whiskey in Longbow is potentially going to have a problem because of that long targeting range. There's only a few avenues where that can actually work. So I need to rejig things a little bit. This should do. Longbow has the designated marksman rifle, giving it the new SMG, which it turns out came out of the gate with supercharge. So reduced attack duration, reduced heat generated, and increased damage on target. Not too bad. Oh, that reminds me, there was a question I wanted to ask about like a potential additional mod. I'm wondering if I should add the mod where I can scrap subsystems to learn how to make subsystems. Just to be a bit less prone to the whims of RNG. I just have to find the subsystems in the first place and be willing to give up the materials and things to actually learn and make them. But yeah, if you guys think that's okay to add that, let me know. Otherwise, I'll just keep on as the rules are. And we'll see how we do. But yeah, apart from this change to... actually, we need to change Barbatos as well because the cluster won't work properly. I gave away the good SMG. Yeah, just give him a basic SMG, that'll do fine. And there we go, that's our loadout. Tango and Sierra are our veterans, and they're keeping an eye on both of our rookies, Juliet and November, who of course, since it's their first deployment, we'll find out what their specializations are going to be, and through that, if we are going to be keeping them. They are driving Edgelord and Barbatos. So, let us begin. Now, we do actually have another comment to get to, of course, which is Happy Afer's comment. About my modded weapons being able to carpet bomb, that is unfortunately still not happening for me. I just keep getting the wrong weapon types as loot. And since I have more quarter tiers, getting enough for the workshop is just not happening. Oh yeah, that would be a drawback of increasing the loot pool, wouldn't it? It's hard to get specific tiers that you want. In my case, I would need tier 4s to upgrade my workshop further, but odds are I'm not going to get them in the tier 2 province, but I am mostly here to try and get stuff. Actually, that's a potential alternate. An alternate of doing a condensed video would be if I don't do a video at all and just do the side provinces, like plow through and do them off camera. Again, that's another option. Let me know what you feel like I might do. So, let's see. We've got some longer reaches through here, but as you can see, we're not sure what's where, and the enemy, we're not sure where they're going to be either. We just have to find them first, and then engage, which means we'll have to get together and sort this out. So, if anything's good for a map to skip things forward, that is going to be this one. Just pushing forward. I would like to note, though, I did almost... By sheer reflex, I tried to dash forward with Edgelord, and then I realised that was probably a really bad idea. I gave Edgelord high mobility for a reason, specifically to try and counteract the fact I can't freely dash. So this should be good. Yep, everyone else is using their dashes freely. Spreading out to see if I can try and find... Oh, there they are. we have targets. So, what do we got? We have got machine gun SMG, we've got an assault rifle, and we've got a autocannon tank. There are already attacks going on. Looks like they're kind of staying closer there, so I kind of want to gather here, don't I? Let them come to me. Actually, let's give me an opportunity. Barbatos. Barbatos has not got a secondary attack option. So secondary attack is not going to be a thing so long as it's got that heavy weapon out. That's worth noting. Anyway, yeah, I just need to reconvene or I flank them. Either way, I need to get some work done with Juliet and November, just so that I can get them unlocked on their next, well, whatever career path they're in. If nothing else, this does show why missile bombardment weapons are not exactly good in here. If you zoom in far enough, it does show you there's actually a roof. As you do. If nothing else, this turn is a bit of a foot race. All units moving into position around here, so we're going to draw the enemies in this way ideally. Though as you can see, we've got 3 units trying to get there. Longbow is going to do a treble dash because of how ridiculously low its heat threshold is now on its dashing. Barbatos is going as well as it can. It dashes twice, and then it's going to try and cool down. And Edgelord is just sprinting. So, yeah. Wait, why am I in replay mode? No, I want execute mode, thank you. Yeah, Barbatos with dashing, and Edgelord is still faster. It kind of shows how slow that weapon is. So, let's see. Enemies are indeed starting to wander this way, and they are going to do wonderful things. You're confused. You are moving forward to attack. That's okay. You are moving forward and you will attack. Who are you attacking? You're actually firing on Barbatos, of all people. That's fine, actually. Barbatos is perfectly positioned here for 2 kills. And then the enemy's planning to do a bit of a close collision, but that's also okay. So, yeah. This should be over quite quickly. Actually, while we're here, Longbow's at the back. Clint did... Sorry, not Clint. Happy if he did weigh in on that one. The reason Longbow got targeted so hard is because he's the only target in the right range and standing relatively still. Well, relatively, he was moving around. The mecha's moved at least away from the start of all your units, so admittedly it's moving a lot to dodge. So it's more like the angle it can aim and rotation speed just made Longbow the best target. Yeah, that would explain a lot about that laser, but I think the laser actually had fairly decent turn speed from what we saw in it moving around. It's just that everything else was so close, Longbow was the only available target for the boss to pick on with that laser. It was kind of irritating though that Longbow had to be on the defensive so much because, you know, Longbow didn't have that ridiculous 0.1 cooldown for heat dissipation after the dash it's now got. So, in the same situation now, Longbow would be far better at doing it. Maybe that's why I gave it such a fast dash cooldown, just like remembering what it was doing before, but no, that was again an accident, that wasn't on purpose. Right, old jamboree here. Worth noting is that Barbatos is stepping forward to make use of the beam laser for the first time on the guy that's trying to charge into us, who has also been targeted by Longbow and Nameless as it happens. So this guy is probably not going to get anywhere. Edgelord, however, should be safely using his dash now, so charge forward, dash. As we established, like effects like charge kick in at the end of the action cycle, so charge will kick in about here, and then a second and a half later it's already close to melee distance with an enemy tank, which should discharge. And then it's backing off, firing a shot, and then diving into cover because that enemy up there is not going to take any fire, and that should be all to the good. So, let us see how this goes in this very, very, very narrow avenue of engagement. Okay. Did I just see multiple discharges going on there? I'm not entirely sure. Well, let me replay that and find out. So, dash... No, that was a run. Dash started. And then an electric art hit long. So, the dash started electric arc. Then dash there, which very briefly clipped the laser. Clonk that, fire that, and then there was a discharge there as well. So, Nameless did get clobbered a little bit. Okay, so it seems like each action needs to be tested to figure it out first. So, charged applies to Edgelord after and before, and it's still charged. If two units are both in water, if not discharged to another unit, this unit will be damaged. It's almost like it got multiple charges. There's one there. Went through. And then the melee. It started the melee there. So, does the melee count as a dash action as well? For the purpose of this, it probably does. So, okay, there's multiple charges there. But then it didn't dash here. Oh, that's why it's currently charged. The charge actually bounced back from the target unit. What? So that means charge is actually really unpredictable. To the point where I'm seriously considering now just tearing out any piece of equipment that gives charge, because the fact it's not just it bounces to me, it bounces from the enemies back to me, which is really, really bad. I was not expecting that at all. Oh, in other news though, this one got completely obliterated. Yeah, Barbatos's beam laser did the job. But you saw that, right? Arc from Edgelord, start of the dash, bounced to Nameless, and then it bounced immediately to Barbatos. And then it bounced to the enemy. And there it was gone. Though Barbatos is still acting there like it had the charge on it. Wait, no, then it disappeared. Yeah, charge is... I can't plan charged at all. If it was one arc, it would be absolutely controllable, but this is just completely random. One last dance of death. I'm not sure where it came from, but I've realised that Edgelord actually has something potentially quite useful here. It has a discharge ability. Sorry, not discharge. Stabilize. Move most harmful states effects by activating recovery systems of the unit. I'm not quite sure where that came from, but it's something that's not present in any of the others. So maybe it's come from Juliet. I don't know. But wherever it's got it from, stabilize means that I can safely purge that charge effect without having to worry about where it's going to go, or offloading it and then bouncing back again, which is entirely possible. And as you see, everything else is just like dancing forwards to engage. So SMG fire, pistol fire, marksman rifle, and of course a beam as well, just coming in to flatten the enemy. It's not going to last this turn. So let's do that. Let's stabilize. SMG, tanks down. Marksman rifle, laser. Nameless steps in to absorb most of the incoming salvo. Enemy is collapsing onto a beam laser, which doesn't seem very healthy. But it's also not yet down, it's still active. Okay, there's still one more round to go. Nothing else to say here. The enemy unit is crashing. Everyone is shooting at it. It is going to go down. I'm pondering that stabilize. I'll have to keep an eye out. But I wonder if stabilize is something that actually becomes available anytime there's a negative effect on a unit, and otherwise it's just hidden, and it's not a command you can do. That might be the case. But we'll need to test with more negative side effects, so that means that Edgelord gets to play around with being edgy and trying to electrocute itself a little bit longer. Though I don't like how uncontrollable the charge status effect is. Anyway, let's go ahead and... Who's without orders? You're doing something already. You're fine. Fine, I'll tell you to move forward slightly. There you go. Happy? Good. Yeah, I think it's down. It's so down it vaporized. Huh. I think that's the first time I've seen that, an enemy mech actually completely vaporized. That was a bit unexpected, but let's see. Bang, and yeah, there's no debris left at all. Oh, it looks like part of it collapsed under the ground. Okay, that's where it disappeared to. Okay. "25 seconds, 66 planned, and things went relatively okay. Okay, so what are you? November, of course, is doing fine. Let's see what we got. We got a Gorgon. A combat... Is that an axe? Medium axe. Used to stabilize mechs and injure parts. Oh, this is one of the capture weapons. I've never actually seen this before. But this is one of the ones that you're meant to try and use to knock down an enemy unit and then capture it by knocking out the pilot. Comes with a concussive payload for extra pilot damage and composite for lightweight. Got a new melee weapon though. And a level 3 snail, long range missile bombardment, and the reactor is a hot rod piece. That is fine. Let's see. A level 3 Erebus part, green tier. That's not too bad, not too bad. Okay, let us proceed. Quick check-in with our pilots. What have we got? Okay, Juliet is another defender, actually. Shield Specialist and Shield Master. Ooh. So this is one that particularly likes playing with shields. Shields get lighter, max health is increased, weapon damage is reduced by 10%, which is slightly unfortunate. But shield barrier boosted by 35% and shield integrity by 35%. So this is one when we want to especially get very offensive in our game plan with the shield. I mean, well, even more aggressive than I have been previously. And then shield master plus 20% shield barrier and integrity, which is weaker than the base one. So that's actually kind of a weaker tier 5. But that's kind of what she does. Oh, and as combat ability, repair the shield. Restore shield integrity to 100%. I think Juliet's a keeper, actually. Okay, November, what are you? November is an engineer type. Pack mule and logistics expert, which is basically identical to the one we scrapped parts to hire. Let's see, where is it? November, and the other engineer is X-Ray. So yeah, the same bits as X-Ray, but well, that's a bit of a bad draw there. In fact, I'm tempted to just let November go flat out and just keep X-Ray. because there's only 2 level difference, but November was far cheaper than X-Way. Well, you got Blinding Fire, unit overheat damage reduced, and ability propulsion boost. Unit reacts to an overdrive, allowing faster movement. Ooh. Actually got the same ability for tier 3. Oh well. I regret the resources spent on hiring X-Way. Though, one of these I think I'm going to get rid of. Oh. November at level 2 gets artillery, missile launcher damage plus 20%. I wonder who I'm going to keep. Though that said, actually Hoarder, 15 salvage bonus at level 4 as well. While X-Ray is barrier specialist or patient. I think X-Ray, despite the cost of hiring, is the one I'm going to let go at this point. Though we'll have to wait and see on that one. I don't know why I hit escape there, that's okay. So, that was actually relatively quickly. You come across a broken down transport truck with Cascade military logos and blazes on the side. Several soldiers are offloading crates, but paying surprisingly little attention. All in, go for broken, try to see one of the large ones, or send a pilot to swipe on the small ones to get basic. All in. So focused they don't notice one of the crates being carted away. Gone before they leave. Salvage a long-range weapon. You don't say. Ooh. ML6 Hornet. With liquid cooling and adjustable for... Oh, that's a really good one, actually. Mixed a minimum maximum range. Extra heat reduction as well is also good. 6 shots. That's right, I need to adjust Barbatos. SMG, but I want to give it the lightest possible, which is probably going to be the handgun as your emergency backup. Yep, it's going to be handgun or the hand shotgun. Actually, I'm wondering why this one's got better range. Oh, precision upgrade. Or quick loader upgrade. I'll give it the green one, sure. There you go. I'm looking at the solar burst because I also like this thing. I'm wondering if there's a durability stat on here. Because I feel like it gets broken easily. Doesn't seem to be though. Group of Theo soldiers stand ready, weapons drawn. Cascade patrol just passed through. We clipped one of their drones, but not before it took out one of our mechs. Or get a new pilot, or search and destroy for some uncommon components. I'm not looking for a pilot right now. Well, I say a lie. I was thinking about another striker, but actually my current striker is pretty decent. Search and destroy. Give me components, please. Thank you. Right. So we need to decide what to do for our next attack, which is, I think breaking is going to be our third one. Mech ambush is going to be our immediate target. It's going to push us kind of close on the timing. But the elimination has got less in terms of like guaranteed reserves and more targets on site. Also, this is not a high priority target, this is just eliminate. Patrols such as these aren't the biggest threat out there, but they can interfere with more important operations or threaten mobile base. Neutralize the enemy forces in the area. So this is just like an encounter with a enemy squad. Really. So yeah, I think mech ambush is going to be my better one to go for. Also heavy rain, weather intensity 88%. Heat dissipation increased. Not just for me though, but also for the opponents. Also there's bodies of water as well. Yeah, that's where I'm going to go. This one here. Kind of close, but we are going to get there. So, let's proceed because there is another part of comment to get to. Part 3 of 4 from Happy Hafer. If the boss unit was used to overwhelm the border defences, I can understand why the Fire Nation got occupied so fast. Yeah, it did say that they were used that way, and they do shrug off multiple attacking standard combat mechs fairly well. I think what happened was that because they were all in one big surge, they all attacked at once, and they all, they weren't operating solo like that one we just took out. They were actually, supported, combined arms, probably multiple walkers in one place as well. So they couldn't be taken apart as a individual piecemeal fashion. That's probably why they rolled over so hard, yeah. I got fast. Even just having one of those per major military outpost would be hard to counter for any nation, especially if they are developed and deployed in secret. Which, as far as we know, they were. That's true. And we all know how sudden the initial attack was, though these behemoths are pretty slow, so they should have both time to put up some defence and at least defend the more distant regions. On the other hand, defenders would probably not have access to such detailed intel on the behemoths and couldn't fight it properly in the end. Properly in the one try they had to defend themselves. That's also true. Intel would have been sparse, really. Just like, oh god, giant robot is attacking us and it's big and scary and that kind of thing. A lot of defences and fortifications and stuff like that, though, outside of major outposts, a city. Wow, I'm getting all my words wrong today. A country's defences tend to be more focused on the borders or within a reasonable distance of the border as a rapid reaction kind of thing. So a mass assault by behemoth-class walkers would probably smash straight through existing fortifications before they could be modified to account for it. And then, with those fortifications bypassed in a ready fashion, then our opponents would have had a chance to just go forth and rampage. So yeah, that's probably what they were used for, to smash fortifications and things like that, rather than in the actual attack wave, because as you noted, they are pretty slow to be on the actual assault force, I guess. Anyway, let's move on to the actual mech ambush though. Timing was a bit tight there, but we did get close enough, so we're going to go in. Mech ambush, we are in a mostly natural area. Aggressors, of course, and a steady stream of reinforcements. Do not stick around, or we might be overwhelmed. Intercept the targets. Nature, it's just very natural terrain. That's okay. Now, just need to reassign my pilots and get things ready. Oh yeah, Nameless is... Nameless? What is with me today? Longbow has got back their sniper rifle, so that is worth noting about. Tango, Kilo, Romeo, and X-Ray are going to be the team for this one. Tango's staying in because it's more damaging, and we're going to into a map which has better cooling going on. So there's no point switching out to the other sharpshooter who's got better cooling performance. And other than that, we've got the old guard, except for X-Ray, who is going in just to say that he did. And yeah, we don't really have the back weapons to play around with our two engineering back weapon specialists that we've now got. So that's something that's worth keeping in mind. Anyway, mech ambush, here we go. Heavy rain, reserves, threat level 2. Squad is in position. So, convoy approach quickly, prioritize cargo units once they arrive. Guards will stop you, try to stop you, stay focused. There is a lot of water on this map actually. Yeesh, I did not realise how much. Ah, I want it. I want your backpack, buddy. You have a missile launcher. You also apparently only got one arm. Yeah, you've only got one arm. Yeah, okay, sure. You know, part of me wishes that I still have the marksman rifle on longbow. Probably been a bit more flexible given the actual combat area around here. Other than that though, we are just positioning, so off we go. Again, I had to constantly resist using edgelord dashing, and yet that's a beamfire there because I knew that, well, it's to make sure that Barbatos finishes its attack cycle sooner rather than later. But the enemy unit is already taking some damage. Not much, but some. Also, notice there are 2 units. Oh, the actual cargo units are mechs. And they're running that way. Okay, I need to reposition. And or take out these guys super quick. So... these guys have got shields as well. They're not that fast, but they are mechs rather than actual cargo trucks. I was not expecting that. Slightly more concerning, though, is the fact that 2 of the enemy tanks actually have missile launchers, which is part of why I wanted Barbatos to finish his attack animation sooner rather than later. It looks like missile attacks are going towards edgelord, of all people. All the missiles are going to edgelord. Ha! 2 puncher heads, 2 collisions. Yes. I'm moving to tactically disable this guy because this guy is pummeling missiles and then going to actually open fire. Almost all of it going for edgelord, as I said before. And then things are just pushing forward. So Nameless is moving in with an active defense to try and intercept incoming missiles. And then it's going to follow up behind edgelord as edgelord moves around to help with that. And then edgelord's going to do a melee which should throw off missiles if it counts as a dash. I'm just trying to position it so that it's not going to immediately electrocute Nameless or Barbatos who are nearby. Again, that unpredictability is kind of a thing. Longbow is sitting back sniping and then is going to actually begin to maneuver to help with enemy cargo. Barbatos is also positioning to do that, maintaining beam strike on the enemy walker and then moving to beam strike one of the 2 missile equipped tanks. And that's about it for what is happening here. So either this goes well or it goes not so well. Let us see. Oh, and yep, that unit's immediately down because, well, everyone was shooting at it. It's worth noting a lot of the missiles were actually way off target. So that was a thing. And we've got, let's see, enemy combat units. This guy is... so that guy's dead completely. This one is the one with the assault rifle who was hanging at the back, is doing okay. This one with an MLS is a bit confused and is not really doing much of anything. So yeah, that's all okay. Enemy cargo units are continuing to move though. But that's why I'll be engaging them from this turn on. Let's check the replay though. I want to see what happened with the electric charge from edgelord to see what happened there. Moving up and around. Enemy unit there is down. And there's the electric bolt straight into Nameless. So yeah, as soon as the dash triggers, which includes a melee strike, which is less than ideal. And no charge when it ended. And I think the collision there was the final thing there. So yeah, Nameless got clobbered slightly. Let's check though. That clobbering though was absorbed by the barriers. So yeah, getting something barrier fitted is a lot better at doing that. You are not currently charged, which means if there was a charge at the end there... oh, you're currently crashing as well. I wasn't expecting that, but apparently a medium class mech, a normal tank, is enough to actually stagger it on a collision. That is less than ideal. That's okay though, I'll get Nameless to move up pretty close to the port. Barbatos and Longbow are going to be focusing on the main threat. Well, I say threat, the main target, which is the cargo units. That wasn't too bad all told. I mean, there's not much to say about this enemy. It's basically got pummeled as soon as the sniper shot from longbow came in, which is that there. Bang, and down it went. Hopefully that backpack is salvageable. We don't know what the rules are with hostile backpacks. Hopefully it's not as fragile as when allied backpacks get blown up. It should be about right. Of course we have got the fact that nameless. Wow! You're nameless now. You got that? You guys are whatever name your predictive algorithm decides to assign to you. No. Edgelord is crashing, so stand back up and attack basically is all it's going to do once it recovers from that. Nameless is pushing ahead though to go ahead and dump everything into these two tanks. One at the one that's already damaged by a beam, and then 2 salvos into the one that is got the missile launcher but isn't attacking this turn, just to try and deal with all that. Worth noting, by the way, despite the cooling of the atmosphere, which is very good in general, Nameless is still having to space out the attacks from the SMG just to avoid an overheat, so that is a thing that's going on there. Along with the dash to get in position immediately to start covering for Edgelord. Longbow is going over the hills and far away really, really quickly. Just like dashing, using the fact that in this environment, dash generates no heat buildup at all. I mean, look at that. Dash, down. Heat is just dropping. Barbatos is moving, and we are going to actually do a field test right now with Barbatos. How well can a beam cut through a intermediate building like this? I'm assuming it's an intermediate kind of building. So the beam attack is going to start up here, and then it's going to swing around following the second unit as it pushes through, just to see how well it cuts through, or if I need to be a bit more careful trying to punch through buildings and things. As well as see how well the beam will do in a demolition mission, let's also be fair. Oh, and Longbow is also dumping 2 shots straight into the first unit with stabilized while it's moving up onto this hill, just to make sure that it's going to do okay. So, that is the plan. Off we go. Beam is doing some work there. There goes one of the tanks. Enemy units shielding towards Barbatos, I think because it's Barbatos the nearest, not the biggest threat to them at the moment. Let's see what happened there. We have got oh, the enemy's actually coming from multiple directions towards the target goal. Okay, so these guys are out of position. They need to reconvene quickly. That last enemy tank is actually so badly damaged it's going to stop and eject. I can ignore it at this point. Actually, I'll probably just put a parting shot into it from Edgelord. Speaking of Edgelord, let's see. Edgelord is moderately damaged. Hasn't really suffered any massive effects from what's happened, so that's okay. But these first 2 targets, you are somewhat damaged and you are A-okay. Why are you A-okay? Did you not get shot? I don't know why the shot was curving there, but bang, okay. And the second shot has not really connected yet. It's just been launched. Kind of weird that. Look, the bullet's just going wee bonk straight into the bridge. Slightly too early, that's okay, that's okay. Now I just need to attack the wandering treasure chests. Oh, a wonderful thing about this rainstorm is Barbatos can actually maintain fire with the beam without needing to stop and cool down at all. So yeah, that's the thing that's happening. As you saw, Barbatos is focusing on trying to take one of the enemy walkers down. I think they are... I'm guessing they're heavy class. No, oh no, they're light class. Wait, no. How quick a unit can run? These are indeed light units, so collisions will cause problems. So that might be a way to try and interdict these guys, just smash into them with any of my other units, because a unit that wins collision is one that outmasses. And I think these guys were fairly heavy tanks, and that's why Edgelord had a problem. Speaking of Edgelord, Nameless is moving over this way to help with these two units. Lombow's backing up. Edgelord is actually going to try and use the charge, so is running most of the way after doing that little parting shot into that tank. Then dash into melee straight into the first of these two units, and we'll see how that goes. So, execute my orders. Ooh, one hit from Longbow took out that first unit. Also, what the hell is Barbatos doing? Intercept first target, seeing the spill cargo on sensors. Very good, yes. What the... Did Barbatos overload? Barbatos did overload, but there was nothing indicating on its attack sheet that it was going to overheat, though. So I don't know what happened there. Oh, I see what did it. Whatever the... What is that? Whatever the handgun is they've got there, it's not a standard. That's a standard one on this unit, which immediately went bye-bye. This one actually set Barbatos on fire, and then that caused Barbatos to overheat. Yeah, so the burst of heat from the dash, followed by activating. Yeah. What handgun is that? I have no idea, but it means I need to be wary. This guy... this guy's got another one, so it seems like one of each in each wave. Fair enough. Tier 2, disable half. That's fine. I mean, the fact that when Longbow actually connected, it immediately took one out is quite useful to know about. Also, burning, stabilize is immediately available. Just stop and purge, please. Got to get that heat under control. It'll take 2 seconds. You get in the water. Yeah, stabilize immediately. You need it. And then take a dip after that. Okay, I'm slightly concerned about this one that's getting risk of getting close, but for obvious reasons Barbatos is currently out of action until we can get it to cool off and sort that out. Whatever that pistol is, it did something kind of nasty. I think it's just the fact it set fire to me, really, at the start of Barbatos' turn, and then Barbatos is kind of heat intensive anyway. Nameless is dumping 3 shots into the back of this guy just to try and sort things out. Though it is, this barrier shield here is towards Nameless, in this case here it's towards Barbatos. So multiple shots were going kind of in the back. It's also, as you can see, attacking back, but it's got a standard pistol, so not super worried about that one. Edgelord is over here. We're going to see what happens here, because the enemy units moving into Edgelord is going to cause a collision. There's not much I can do about it. But Edgelord is heavier, so it should be okay. But NG arc is literally just happening as we stand. Then it's going to move forward, pistol, pistol, then reposition because the other guy is currently guarding against Edgelord and then attack there. But this also means that the back is pointing towards Longbow. So, we'll have to see how all this goes with the fights themselves. This guy, though, of course, is the main concern. If he gets away, that's going to cause us issues with salvage. So, let us see now. Got a good view here, so. Machine gun. Oh, that did something to it. Are you down already? Oh, there was Longbow claiming another kill over there. This guy's not down though, this guy's stood back up. Okay, so, you're still alive. Every unit convoy is past checkpoint, no one else is coming, let's finish them off. Okay. Yeah, there's another 2 coming in here, right. So, you are... Your shield is critically low. Barbatos at least is cooled down now, so... Yep, Barbatos has got 0 heat again. Very good. This guy's doing fine. Longbow absolutely obliterated this guy. Let's check the replay though. Energy, handgun, first shot from Longbow missed, handgun, and then bang, down you go. Well, this one actually lost its weapon arm with the whatever that pistol is, so it can't use that. Very good. Yeah, this guy's only got shield and is going to keep pushing on that way. These 2 are... We are seeing, actually, I was going to mention, we are seeing different shield types kicking in here, I think. So in this case we've got a Ajax shield, I think it is. No wait, this is a hybrid, this is probably an Ajax. This one though says it is pure barrier with only a tiny bit of integrity behind it, so I'm not sure what kind that one is. I have to figure that one out. Anyway, let's go ahead and sort this last round of fire out. Doing quite well for time, honestly. Let's see now. Nameless is firing a pot shot at this guy who's running, and then moving over here to deal with the last wave. Again? Wow. Longbow is doing the long range thing. Nameless is actually acting as our backstop, moving up to take position on the enemy's approach path, while also dumping 2 rounds of fire into the last survivor of the first enemy wave. That's okay. Edgelord is pursuing after the one that's nearby. It's going to do a melee charge and then 3 regular attacks. So hopefully Longbow doesn't outright kill it, but again, this is kind of hard to predict here. And then Barbatos is actually moving forward a bit, and as soon as it gets into beam range, it's going to start firing on one of the 2 enemies over there. So that's going to be taking constant fire as it comes in, as you do. And that's kind of the plan. The key one, though, I hope, is for these 2, because these 2 are running hard. So let's go ahead and see what we can do. Yeah, this angle should give us kind of a good idea what's going on. So, oh, first salvo has knocked out the one on the bridge. Excellent. Looks like the other enemy is also having a fun time there. Edgelord has got a slight issue with an overcharge. That's okay. Fair number of targets down, track and lost cargo of the team, keep up the good work, Commander. Thank you. So, Edgelord is going to overload. Actually, Edgelord has overloaded, not massively so, but... Yeah, it's because that first sniper shot took down the enemy before the melee attack, so... Yeah, I feel like maybe I should take that reactor off there, because, you know, it's causing problems. In the meantime, this guy got absolutely bodied, so he's absolutely fine. As you can see, I had some other attacks queued on as well. The other one is this guy. This guy is... His shield is getting eroded something fierce. But that's also okay. Something worth noting, by the by. I don't think I recognise the parts on these enemy units. That's not a Nox, the head shape's wrong, the arm panels are wrong. This is a very lightweight unit design, but I don't recognise what the make it is, so I'm curious to see what that'll be. Anyway, Tier 3 salvage, take out 1 more target. There's only 2 targets remaining. Everyone's charging, this way, that way, here we go. So, these 2 units are just trying to run past. Barbatos is unloading into the one that's nearby. which we'll try to shoot back, but Barbatos has got heavy barriers still available, so she'll be probably okay. Nameless is moving in to act as the backstop, so if it gets past Barbatos, then Nameless will be able to take it on next turn. The other one, Lombo, is just taking pot shots at it as it closes, though it is actually shielding towards Barbatos as the much nearer threat. Edgelord is just moving into position near the enemy goal just to try and, you know, get there in case something happens. So, let us begin. Nope, one that went down. I don't think the other one's down, it's just, yeah. Most targets are down, you pick the convoy clean, Commander. Thanking you. So I'd imagine that means that there isn't any bonus further. There is not. There is also still one target though, which is this one running desperately. It's had its shield blasted off, but yeah, it's probably not going to take any more than one hit there. So he ran in, then the shield gave way, and that's when its fate was kind of sealed. Bang. There it goes. Okay. Dogpile of the last unit, that's all I need to do now. And that's it, except for Barbatos. Barbatos is stuck in attack animation for a good while yet, so I think it's kind of out of this fight. Here we go though. There's 4 rounds of SMG fire due to come in on this. 1, 2, 3. Yep, third one did it. And then one more just for good measure, but the enemy has already gone up in smoke. Victory! Hurrah! No targets field, mission concluded. Thank you. That went pretty darn well, so. No targets remaining. Yep, clean sweep. I wasn't expecting the mechs with cargo packs, but that makes sense and explains where you can get some cargo packs from. Hopefully I get some from this, because I always want more. I was hoping to do more missions in this, but despite saying that I'd try to condense it, I don't think I have done really. Ah well. A 25 odd second and a 40 second combat length though. Not too shabby. Took some damage, but that's okay. And there's still one more part of Happy Hofer's comment to get to, but let's see. You're good, though Tango is now max fatigue. Kilo is also fine. Edgelord took some damage there. That charge effect's just like kind of hard to play around, but I think it's compounded on Edgelord by the fact that it's almost exclusively made out of Nox parts, so there's no actual barrier. If there was a barrier, then a self-inflicted zap wouldn't be causing lasting damage. But that's something maybe keep in mind. Maybe update it from Nox to something with barrier pieces. But all the barrier torsos I've got access to right now actually have an other upgrade slot apart from an aggressive one, which is what we need for the actual like charged plates. But then again, I've not been using charged plates at all, have I? So, maybe I'm not as attached to the Nox torso piece as I thought. Then, of course, X-Ray, who I'm half tempted to just go ahead and send away. Frame integrity minus 29%. Barbatos didn't like being set on fire during that one, but it came through it more or less okay. Let's see what we got though. Gorgon. A new launcher, another Gorgon, a slug, a semi, an axe thruster. Okay, right. So, Gorgon we know, it's that axe we got. A quiver. Vertical launch missile tube. Ooh, this is a backpack, isn't it? Projectiles capable of steering towards target, so it's got full guidance system. Yeah, vertical launch, I assume it's a backpack weapon. We'll find out in a second though. Wait, no, it's... not sure from the image. Another Gorgon. We got a slug. heavy partially guided missile. Fires A, so this is another new launcher. Slow but highly destructive against target structures. One shot over a decent arc, long range, fairly heavy. Not quite sure about this one, but we've got multiple and single versions of the smaller handheld. So this is, I guess, the single shot version of the snail. I mean, it's even got the same naming convention and everything. So we've got semi and we got a expanded magazine mod. Okay, and an atlas. Continue. Ah, alas, we cannot actually salvage from the enemy cargo units. Darn. I was hoping we could. Regardless, we've got access to a sequence, which is the missile pack. So hooray, we've got ourselves, at the very least, a missile pack, and it's got the same thing. So that might be another missile backpack we've got elsewhere. Other than that, nothing special here, no green parts or anything. So salvage is a bit of a wash for this one. Actually, being able to unlock MLS-8 cluster by itself is a good thing to have happen. So that's useful at least. Other than that, it's just salvage work. Take over. Short range weapon, camp supplies, uncommon components, and subsystems. Okay. Again, X-ray. The fact that X-ray costs hope to recover kind of makes me very regretful that I actually did that and picked up X-ray from the previous border post. But our next target, though, is going to be a break-in. Attack guarded cache point, aiming force and sealing the entrance. Conditional Wars backpack melee weapon. A short range weapon, a rare component, and thrust subsystem. The elimination we've already had a look at. The takeover, though, is short range weapon, camp supplies, subsystems, uncommon. So yeah, I think hitting a break-in is going to be our next thing here. Oh, Romeo leveled up. Unstoppable. Actually, that's a pretty good one to pair. Unfortunately, it's not one I think that I can pick to keep as a permanent bonus, because it's an ability. Though I think we'll get this every time Romeo hits level 3. So that should be good. Let's also check our units. Edgelord's the one without a backpack right now. If we click and see, yep, we've got multiple backpacks. So we've got the Eclipse, that was the one we already had. We've got the Quiver, which is 6 shots, fairly powerful. Also, fairly powerful, yeah. And then we've got the Sequence, which is 8 shots, unguided missile rocket launcher. And that's the one we picked up off the enemy unit. So, Sequence is unguided rockets. Quiver is a guided missile system, and the Eclipse, of course, is a semi-guided. It's amazing, unguided rockets. How well does this one target then? But it is. Actually, this guy says it's got very short optimal range. The other two have got very long ranges. That's curious. I'm going to have to fit my guys with some missiles and see what happens. In the meantime, though, let's have a look at the other options. There's the snail, there's the slug. The slug fires a much more powerful projectile. Per attack 495, while this one is per hit 196. This one fires 3 shots, though, so if all hits connect, it's got a bit more range, though. This one's homing, this one's semi-guided. Which one is heavier? This big one is, but it's also got a much shorter attack duration as well, as you can see there. As well as much lower heat generation. So yeah, it's definitely a single shot version, but it's got more precise targeting. Okay, that's interesting, that one as well. Anything else to look into here? We've got 3 Gorgons at this point. So I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with the Gorgons, honestly. But I was looking at Edgelord maybe swapping out the torso piece, because the discharge coil I've not really used there, but the dynamo reactor I feel like needs to go, because the fact I've got that in itself is a bit problematic. The fact I've got it on a melee unit means that I've got 2 actions instead of 1, which will trigger a discharge. Also, during that last fight, the discharge didn't bounce back onto Edgelord. I wonder if it can do that. I'm guessing it just can't bounce back the way it came, which is why it managed to do a full circle in that first mission. At least that would be my guess. Anyway, we do need to continue, which is... We've got a bit more comment and then we are done for this particular video. I will, of course, equip very suitably Edgelord with big missile weaponry, just as the backdrop here for this particular discussion. We're not going to be seeing Edgelord with missiles anytime soon, just to be clear. Just to be absolutely clear. Because Edgelord is geared very differently. Anyway, last part. That missile launcher, so the Eclipse launcher up here, would, in my game, have at least 3 slots for extra damage mods. That sounds insane. I could get that weapon to well over 6,000 damage if I only focus on unit damage. Though I think my focus would be on cooling. 200 heat is no joke. Thankfully, the firing duration is fairly long, 1.8 seconds, so the overheating issue is not quite as bad as it looks. Yeah, that's something to bear in mind, in particular like sniper rifle and, as I said before, the beam laser and other things. The heat generation can be pretty high, but it's over the fire duration. So 1.8, and the Barbatos only has 100, but most units have slightly higher than that. But 100 and during 1.8 seconds would need to dissipate during that time at a rate of a roughly 55 to 60 heat dissipation. I'm only at 35 to maybe nearly 40, so I'm not at the point where I can safely fire the Eclipse launcher with its 200 heat spike. Not yet. If I can get some more parts, that would be good. Again, thoughts on if I want to handle side branches differently in the recording, please let me know. Back to the comment though. If you can get your mechs to have 50 or 60 cooling per second, it should be barely usable even without pilot skill boosts. Yeah, I was just guesstimating there in that same ballpark, 50 to 60. That being said, even with mods, that number is somewhat hard to reach, so I guess you need a full cooling focused mech and pilot combo to make it work. It is not quite the weapon I had in mind for my mech, but I think it could work with the longbow. It could. The issue I have with the Eclipse, though, is the 3-shot limit. Potentially with the longbow, though, we have got this slug launcher, which, of course, has very long-range guided capability, but... honestly... The slug's got the same issue with the sniper rifle. It's got a very limited active window, though in this case the accuracy doesn't matter as much, it's just the travel time, because it's a very slow travelling one. So I'm not sure I want the longbow to be having that. I mean, the narrow accuracy window for the sniper rifle is a bit of an annoyance, but it's not quite so bad, and the shot speed is really good because it's a projectile weapon. The missiles will just take so long to get to target, and maybe I don't really want that on a ranged unit, but I'm willing to swap around if you want me to try it, see how it goes. But yeah, that is the end of Happy Afer's comments, and we've got some more toys in the explosive department at the very least. I think I will, however, before we finish, very quickly swap Edgelord back over to its pride and glory so that Little Kari doesn't feel the need to gouge me for misequipping his unit. So there we go. And of course we've got the really decent handgun on here as well, which I could make more powerful, but don't really see the need to at the moment. Anyway, Barbatos worked quite well, except for the part where it got set on fire. It's a shame I couldn't actually salvage from the transport units, then I could actually salvage one of those pistols and find out what it was like, or what it was about. Or salvage the body parts, which we had not seen before. But yeah, going to call it there, though. This has been Matthew. Thank you all very much for watching. Hope you guys like the show. Feel free to like, share, comment, subscribe. All the good stuff helps me, helps the channel. Give me those virtual headbats I oh so crave. And I'll catch you all some other time, where next time we are probably looking at going into the break-in. We could go for this, but we're short on time. So, yeah, I think going straight into break-in is probably going to be the best way to go about it. Of course, if I was in a hurry, I could have just took break-in straight away, and then that would have immediately pushed me up to the next stage. But shiny things, but loot. Yeah, we need the toys, we need the equipment. We're still struggling a bit in that regard. Plus we have the pilot, so we've got the endurance there. We've only got the 4 mechs though, so that's why taking some damage wasn't ideal. I guess that means Sierra's getting deployed next time though, to fix something up.